trying to start this new segment, like a mini segment. We talk about product market fit. Here's a question for every guest now. Tell me about something you tried and failed. What'd you learn from it?
You would need a whole separate series and podcast to just go through all of the things that I tried and failed. But one that I am really sad but happy, it's bittersweet, let's say. I sold my first startup. I was still on the board and still working with them, and I was trying to discover what I wanted to do next. And I had been interviewing all kinds of people on their nail care routine. And that's when I said, okay, you know what? There's something here. There's something about the nail salon. It's kind of a weird experience. You have to pay before your nails get painted. I was like, oh, this is a whole world of like crazy experience that really needs some technology to make this thing better. And so I started interviewing people. I think I interviewed maybe 25 to 30 different people, and just to understand what their routines are, if they go to a nail salon, if they do, what their pain points are. And so I launched Halabella in 2000, probably early 2019. And I was like, this is a runaway success. I'm going into these nail salons. I mean, we'd use all kinds of really scrappy, like we weren't just like knocking on doors. We were like sending customers to get their nails done, and the nail salon didn't even know they were on the app, and they didn't really care because we were there like paying them with envelopes of cash. And we like Wizard of Oz this thing, and were able to learn how to get into a nail salon, what the value props were to them, all kinds of stuff. I was so proud of all of the startup experience and how we applied it to this. And I went and tried to raise money. And because I had just sold my last startup, and I had not a huge network, I'm not a Silicon Valley guy, I'm a New York City, Silicon Alley guy. And so I was somewhat networked, and I could ask people for intros and stuff. And call after call, people were telling us that the market was too small. The market's too small. And I'm like, it's a $9 billion market. It's too small. It's too small. Over and over again. I would press them on it to understand what big is. Like, give me an example. And I was like, we're going to start here. And they're like, but are you going to go deep, like vertical? You're going to own your own nail salon. You're going to get into payments. You're going to get into, and I was like, I don't think we need to. And I was just so obsessed that I had created a solution for a problem, and that consumers liked it, and that nail salons liked it. So it wasn't the product market fit. It was the size of the market. And I thought 9 billion was huge. It wasn't until I sat down with one of the partners from Primary Ventures, Jason, and he gave us feedback later, and he was like, guys, let me show you how we look at the size of this market. It's how many nail salons want anything to do with technology. Just breaking it down, and he's like, your total market might be $100 million. I'm inventing the number, but it was something really small. It was crushing, because we just thought total market 9 billion, and even that would be too small for a VC. The fact that it was like just broken down into smaller pieces. So we got that information. We decided that we were going to go into a much larger space of just personal wellness, and COVID happened. And so the part that was supporting our business was the nail salons, and within 4 to 6 weeks, my co-founder and I decided we're shutting this down. And it was really hard to shut something down that fast, but there was no end in sight. The entire industry was completely upended. Looking back, I think had we focused on building a profitable business instead of raising VC money, we would have probably had a $50 million business on our hands with just a couple of us working, and we'd be all recording this on my boat right now in Biscayne Bay. But I was so obsessed with going after the VC money and thinking product market fit is step 1, VC money is step 2. It's almost like you do the one and you unlock the other. And that was so unfortunate, because it is a huge opportunity. And I think the businesses that get into it and fail, it's actually because they end up raising VC money, and then it does eventually back you into a corner, and then they get shut down because they can't repay that back.
So Matt, you just dropped the insight that's been the thing. This has been like our main point. Like we say it over and over again. There's something really powerful in just building a good business. And not every business needs to be a unicorn. Not every business needs to be a $1 billion idea. Also, how do you ascertain something is a $1 billion business? It's because someone looked at your numbers and said, over time, we think you're a $1 billion business. Well, the thing is, you can grow into that. right? And I think that's the thing that people mess up. They think that day one or day 100 or day 730, someone has to claim that title for them. But the reality is that it's okay if you don't get there until day 3095, right? It's okay if it takes you a long time to build a very logical, very customer centric, very useful business to the world. And I think that's what's really great about that. So, Matt, I thank you so much, because that's something that I can't tell you how important that message is that people need to hear about building really good businesses. That's all that matters. And taking on debt, even if it's from a VC perspective, often puts you in positions where you can't make choices that you would prefer. You end up making choices to make sure that you are appeasing the people who give you that money.
100%.
B said it. That's perfect. My goodness, I think that the new narrative around that should be when a VC says, "Where's the billion-dollar opportunities?" We are finding our way to $1 billion. We are tackling small niche problems now. And when we do that well, then we will buy our right to tackle another problem for that customer. And that's how you build $1 billion business. That's how Spanx did it. They had one product and they found their way into other opportunities to delight their customers.